Okay, here's a quick tutorial on some multi-exposure techniques that I've been playing with. Super simple. All you need to do is get some images. They work best if they're on a studio background, and this one happens to be on white. A couple different images. First thing I'm going to do is duplicate this so I have my original base images. So I'll just hit Command or Control J to create a duplicate copy of this. And then what I will do is simply go through and select the second image, and I want to make sure these images are a similar scale to each other. So I'm going to, I changed the opacity on the group, not on the layer itself. So I'll go in here and reduce the size of this a bit, or reduce the opacity of it. Let's zoom in here, and what you can see is I can see through the top layer where she's completely arched over, and I'll drag this up so we come close to putting them together. Let's zoom in a little bit more, and you can see that the image that's more opaque, the higher level image, okay, is quite a bit larger. So what I will do is to change the size of this, I'll hit Command or Control T to enter into transform mode, and then we'll go up and grab this center point, okay, and pull it down, and I'm going to place it right at her toes because I know that's kind of where I want to control this. Okay, so I'll lock it onto her toe, and I'm going to change the size of this simply by dragging to get them close to the same size, and that looks pretty good. So 2104, let's go down a little bit. Let's say 21. That looks pretty good. They're damn near close to the same size. Okay, so we'll hit OK to that one, and hit the check mark to finish it off. And now we'll add this layer. And what I did was I tried to put these in a location that made sense. So I had a common location, and because her foot was kind of shaped the same way. Okay, let's zoom out a little bit. You can see it's her right foot. Okay, so and that's kind of shaped the same way. So what I did was I dropped them onto each other, just like I did the previous one, and this one is actually quite a bit larger. Okay, so I will drop that there and hit Command or Control T to transform. Go up, grab that origin point again. So let's grab this, pull this down, and get down to her toes. Drop this onto her big toe again, right in the center of her nail, and I will reduce this just simply by dragging to get kind of close. Let's see how that looks. Is that the right size? Yeah, probably pretty close. Okay, and I'm gonna stick so it's fairly close to the toenails overlapping each other. Okay, and then I'll hit the enter key and the enter key again, or you can hit the check mark up top, either one. Okay, and Command or Control 0 to fit to the screen. These all have white background or a studio background, so there's a wide variety of ways that you can do this. My chosen way would be to go in here and just work on one layer at a time. That one's right where I want it, so that looks good. This one I'm going to turn on, and I'm going to work on this layer. Okay, let's increase the opacity of this. And what I want to do is extend the background so it matches the current frame, the same frame as the first one. So all I'll do is go in here and let's use a marquee selection. Go in here and say edit whoops, I gotta make these, it doesn't work when they're smart objects, so let's rasterize all these things. So we'll press Shift, select, and rasterize these layers, and then pick the layer we're working on, and edit, and content aware scale. And I just simply want to scale this to fill the frame. You don't have to be accurate about this. You can pull this to the side. You can enlarge it both directions, whatever you want to do. If you want to just simply stretch it, press the Shift key and pull on this center node on the right. Pull that out. Say OK to that. Do the same thing over here and edit. Content aware scale again. Shift key and drag. And we got to do it for the top and the bottom. So it's a somewhat repetitive process, and I apologize it doesn't go faster, but bear with me for just a minute. So we'll content aware scale again. Shift and pull this up. And select the bottom. Okay. And again, content aware scale for that, and then shift and drag that down. Okay. So now Command or Control D, you can see it fills out that seamless background very nicely. Now, what we can do is change the opacity. This is one technique that I did, just simply changing the opacity. Put it at 50%. See how it looks. Looks nice. You can see the areas that are common are darker, but it's a multi-exposure essentially. So let's go in to the stop level one. Again, shut that off. Let's grab that top layer, pull that to opaque. Again, we're going to do the same thing for the content aware scale. Okay, and we've already done the sizing, so we know they're where they belong. We know they're the right size. We know they're the right scale, everything. So we'll go in and just simply fill out the backgrounds here. Edit content aware scale again. Shift click, pull that up to the top. That looks good. And then select that, edit content aware scale. And make sure you have the correct layer selected. I knew I did, but I want to point that out because I've done it more than once where I didn't have the correct layer selected. Okay, Command or Control D to deselect, and you can check the area on the right hand side if you want to. Let's hit Command or Control minus, and I'll grab hold of this, and then we'll go in here and edit content aware scale again. And I'm going to shift click and pull this to the right just to make sure it's completely filled up. Looks like it is, but this way I can be ensured that it is. Command or Control D to deselect. And again, change my opacity of that layer, the active layer, change the opacity to 50%. Okay, and turn on the other two layers. Let's see what it looks like. That's what it looks like. Looks kind of cool. Works out well. So now I want to make this a more interesting with that color look. So I hit Command or Control J to duplicate that entire group. Now one thing I'm going to do is I'm going to show you two different techniques for this. Let's turn both of those layers off. I'm going to turn this one back on. I'm going to increase its opacity to 100%. If I double click on this layer, I can then choose to ignore the channels. So I can say show me only the green channel, show me only the blue channel, and you'll see if I turn off the red channel, I get red and cyan. If I turn off the green channel, I'll get green and magenta. Whoops, let's turn it all the way up. Okay, green and magenta. And again, click on the blue and I get blue and yellow. Okay, so I get the color complements of each other to get what I want. I like the red and cyan one, so I'm going to hit that red and cyan. Okay, And what I'm going to do is take a stamp visible layer of it. So I'm going to hit Command or Control Shift Alt or Option and the E key. Okay, smash your fist and then hit E. So it's a bunch of keys in the bottom left corner of your keyboard. Okay, and that creates a stamp visible layer, so then I can shut these two off, and it basically just takes a copy of everything that's visible. Then this one, I'm going to turn this one on. I'm going to turn this to 100%, and I'm going to double click on that layer, and I'm going to shut off. If I shut off the red, you'll notice it only gives me the blue because it's ignoring the red on the other channel. So that one doesn't work. So I need to shut off the green or the blue to get what I want. Okay? So what we'll do is let's shut off the green. Let's shut off the red. There we go. We can get something that looks kind of cool. So depending on what you want to shut off, two of the channels to get what you want. So this way I get something that's like magenta and cyan and yellow. It's kind of cool. So we'll save that. And then same thing again. Command or Control Shift Alt or Option and E. Do stamp visible that whole thing. Okay. And you can shut all of these off except for this top layer, and you get the final result. That's just the color. Okay, now I'm sort of going to mix the two of these together. So what I'm going to do is shut off that first group, and I'm going to hit on that top layer and do the same thing again. The Command or Control Shift Alt or Option and E. Then I'm going to take a copy of this. So I'm going to hit Command or Control J. Shut off those grids. I'm going to pull that final result up to the top, okay? And shut this off. I'm going to turn this one on. Command or Control J to duplicate that. So essentially what I'm doing is I'm taking the combination between these two and shut that set off. So I have the pure color one and then the kind of the translucent, 50% opacity one. And you can do on this one up top, and then you can say I want to go in to overlay, soft light, vivid light. You can play with your blend modes to get what you want here. So you can see by jacking through these blend modes, you can get a variety of different modifications. Okay, so all I'm going to do is I'm going to click on normal, and I'm going to just simply lower my opacity. Let's go down to 50%. So we'll go there, and let's make that 50%. And you can see all it does is it adds some definition, so you can see like her leotard in this yellow one. You can see her leotard a little bit better. So if I shut off this, you can see it's kind of like a pure yellow outline. So this adds some shape to those colors. So it's just another technique that I found. You can play with it, do what you want. Works best if you have a white background, or you can put them on a white background, or let's say a studio background. A black one would work just as well, or a gray one. Anything sort of seamless. But it really, you can try it with a variety of different techniques. You can try it with different animals. You can try it with an animal and a person. This I think would look really cool with cars. It's worth a try. See what you can get.